start before there is one who made you. Tombo laman chuk ten kaya drip. Bard the kava hit yam so long. Tama gompar yemi jutsul sun. Tsumi lam habla hyonsa losong. Tachis the tombo laman chuk tens, tombo laman chuk dentila tango res. Laman chu sejite. So target no John sank damba. So one hot damba, shun no son soma. The nature is the jig shoot two pajachimbo. No yam don't talk what chimbo sature. Tanda shoot two padzina, shoot two pazosata, hope Jones osate, garden, do mumble to some day. Then it to some Mayan pachig. Nyam so lonely. Teacher is carry dojin turn your party. Wrong to. Tandizu son chilla, choton den bassel. Tanager say change na chig young, choton den passage. Topi dojo tours. Two jig yanjut tours. Topi dojo tours wrong shirapki, wrong tunic niluto. Nilu to tsar jes ti tu hiji chimbok yen sempien huntrok lamla mambahi tani torwazo huntrok lamla asegana tandaji yen lumala chutan ti tuju torzi ka tandizo du cherizo do tofu yeshi ka rong ka sanjo tor tuje ka cherizo do hyanlap ka yen ka sanjo torzi tanda ka chokden ka lama jilla tang ka soresa tombo laman chuk dance laman chuk the jerva gave him it kayan the drips that lami chisomba the katya carry sona that the logic jiman mumbo yole te drips yanson drips then he part the kava hit yam salons pe na page yogurt jetson mularipa tombo laman jal then it is lami kaya the drip Tinto to Lama Somba no Yaka does Mulo Trukurno. Then in you nyams land do the lichi, sometimes Tamani water tardu, then in Marwalota tal per Nindondava Malaripa. Then it to the Tangajal Mandu, Tachoron like me carry Kashutoma Sonsarta, don't want some tetsas. Tangajil de Madion, Tachoron son, Rutu, Guntu, Yatu, Noctu Sida. Yatir the Rutu to Solason, Gumjus, the Tofak Lamitu, Sonja the Nyam Saloni, Churuk, Tamperi to the Tofu Yesh, Chorong Gel, Himason Pati Nyam Salon Sonde. Then part Lama Carry, Son yo Pati Nyam Saloni. Then it message la rodo drocomato union. You then consider the marvel Zangama, Nandares of Kava Mumbo he, Takashi said the Sajum, Tonjum, Floppa, Cho, To, Tandiri de Lamaka Yedani, Jerry the Contandizu, Kavashi, the Kavashi can drive the Jerry to the Jingachaki Kavashi, Naji Kamasu Kavashi, no Molon, Jamke, say. The Gumaj Muse Shul Tangama nearby his in church. The Tumarin, the Jerry to the Chu Young Papa, Lami Chuson, Tond Loni, Ni Wembalandroni, there is on Kurva like Ninjong, Yundi la Jerry Dota, Trunundo, Tating $10, Sampian to the Nasun du Compo. Lami somba no you drug your go, so charge your motor, to your motor. Ganga Guna your motor, Kavashi, Yams of Lons race. Tan Tamasit, Tan Tanju Jet Gompa Yemis, Jursons. Tangamari to the Lama Luman, you don't Luman is Sapano Yandere. Thunder Tamachi is a Gompa Yem, Gompa Segana, Lama Gompa, Yamto, Yantent. Todochi, Lumak. To Jilla Sushin poem, the Yaga image, Lama Luman, Emir, Tricky Jago, Tanir. Tani chiri lama ti jisur kandi, yuna jepa kyangla, jepa sejite, jarwa gompi jepa, rinzan dai jepa, kongsa nyankongku jepa se. Jisan lam kyangla, lama te rong tsawa lama ti kandi song yuna. Ti kanda chiri kor luta, ti jisur ti man wachi san roji te la. Tani chiri judo, ti loman chukta chiris. Chomi lam kyangla hyong tsa los, tani te tabu jirsu sansong, tanda ina, ta tsiri jido, tsumi lama te kariri sejina, randa tong traba chi la seguri. Ta tela chiri jido, yanji kitala kong tagu marzi. Lama kongru lan choju zo yongdu, kari na surban degunda, lama yuanten jor. Nga lama, Patrul kongru tsabu lama, jime limba, tombo lama chok tenzire yesi, jime jaru nyok, jime limba tenzire. Ta ti yang lama jigoro. Papa sanyam nga su mui khasu strons sonji nguri tola tane ti ka yat dra bhartat mi pe yong jere ju ma khang go hyo za chi khala yu mi kunchen ji mi ling bak chu somba no yu ka ba mo bu chi tani jere ju bol kham lan ji mi nam ji ji mi ling bak luma khur anamana dra chepar tan ji mi jar nyo go to long chen hin ti Jigme limba jusu dzogchen tsubo tandi redo shet nyams tandi lo. Tanin tama jigme limba li tarung chire judo jigme jarwanya ga sapsama ga samsam chik lama to yerme pa tandra jire sonjire. Tani longchen himti ga jusur ta huma dachina mombo tali marte. Tani chire judo kunchen jigme limba ga jipa tenya kang hula tarung hen ga tsubo chikta Jigme jarbu nyugure, tani don chen tsere, tani jigme nam ju seju, tani rayolo, tozo zodu, te jusu san sonzures, tozo zodu te kong tsawa lama te nguni son dar tong trabu, ta lama ten rabu chin jikten di tola yoji mari tangar, son jik, yuante son ji do nyam gures, jigme te kunchen jigme limba tong, son ji tong, jigme jaru chaka son gure te, ngala tu na son pasharum chi kong rukla sona, tan jime jaru nyoga ten tsungme insa, tela ton drang ji yo mare so. Tan ngala tengo ni tsungda machi pasi, nga jang tsungda machi pasi ndo. Ten don tsungme tsawa lama jime jaru nyoga kya hyong tsa lo so, tak sunde so. I just read this presentation, okay? You go to like this. First, you follow a supreme master and beyond him. Beyond him? I don't know. Okay? Oh no, obeys him. I'm sorry. Then you practiced undertaking great hardships, and finally your mind and your teachers became one, and you inherited the lineage, and the peerless teacher at your feet bows. So me lami hyap sidnala hyap nela cherizo namjena jena kombun thalsel tan dela hisazuna lama lam hyap la tugli yin sin to hali pak hisa chim lam hyap la chansal. Is here I'm talking about feet. I bow it very much kind of the respect. It's I think in Europe we haven't got them. In India's, like when you students to see their own masters, they all the time put, and still these systems are there, like to touch on the lama's feet and then do like this. And India's they are very much these caste systems. And also it's like sometimes when you have feet, it's like this. And like this, feet I bow. Now here is like his lot of prayers, like extraordinary, lot of adjective. It's talking about the Patrul Rinpoche, his own teacher, Jigme Jarwanyak. Okay, Jigme Jarwanyak. Jigme Jarwanyak is his principal teacher. Of course, Ndonchen recognized, but he received all the heart essence, vast expanse from the Jigme Ranyak. Jigme Ranyak is the student of the Jigme Limba. Okay, then Jigme Ranyak I will to later to show them, but just painting them. I think Jigme Ranyak's pictures no existence. And then he said, firstly, you follow a supreme master. This is very important. Generally speaking, supreme master, that your education is a supreme, your practice is a supreme, realization is a supreme, and also it's like a kind of the you practice is supreme, and you studied all the what you receive from your teacher, according to Buddha's teaching of the Sutta and Tantras. And then it's like you practice supreme. You never follow your ideas. You totally follow step of your masters. And then you're like kind of the supreme realizations. The supreme realization, you're like kind of the unshakable faith. Unlike kind of any tiny, there's no doubt, no mistake. You follow the step of your masters. And you realize that the primordial wisdom of the realization of the teachers transformed into your minds. And therefore, supremes. And therefore, teacher itself is the really supreme and the master. For example, here, Jigme Ranyak, he followed the supreme master of the Jigme Limba. Extraordinary supreme masters, like a kind of Buddha of the dispel of the ignorant or darkness. And the noble Yukantism, Papa Senyangaso. And Senyangaso, didn't it? And supreme masters, and obeys, listened. We are not obey. Why you say like this? I'm a little bit against use it. I'm often like this. I hope you are not that, okay? This is in the modern, you cannot say like this. Why you say like this? We all the time obey is absolutely forgot it. We are like kind of but here is said, my root teacher in Jigme Limbas, how it is to follow his supreme master of the Jigme Limbas. Whatever omniscient of the Jigme Limbas says to him, he obeyed. And then it's like, then in the middle, sir, you practice under the undertaking great hardships. And in the middle, I can to say, like, for example, Jigme Ranyak, he's born in Dzachika, like Sam Patrul Rinpoche, and he went in the central Tibet, he visited Jigme Limba, he received all the teachings unmistakably, as completely, entirely teachings. He come back to the Dzachika, and then he practiced whatever he receives, day and night, and undertaking all the hardships. Which kind of hardship? Like difficult to find food, this kind of hardship. Hardship of the lack of drink, lack of food, lack of the shelter, lack of there is a cold, heat, everything. You go under that, you don't care. Only concerning pit instruction you received from your how to say it's a peerless, the masters, supreme masters. And like this, generally speaking, I said in Tibet, We take example, Milarepa and Marwa, very famous. Milarepa's teachers, Marwa. He came to there to visit Marwa Lotsawa. And then it's like he followed up, he obeyed 6 years, whatever Marwa said. Marwa's teaching is very rare. He said, today I will teach you one verse. Then you need 6 months you need to work. And he worked to building, and then it's like he completely exhausted. Hole is here, back there is blood. And then he going to, I work, can you teach me? Mara's laughing. Look, how much I like kind of under the hardship, this my like kind of the teachings took from India, from Naru. You just a few months you work, then you are like kind of the complain. Now you should give me. I don't want. And he beat him and kicked out. And then sometimes he's desperate, but continue. The last moment, and then it's like kind of Marwa's wife to says, my dear, now you're best student. And he said, don't tell me. You think I'm stupid? I'm looking for my student, this one. And then that time also Milarepa was so sad. He said, my teachers like this, maybe I'm so negative. Of course, he killed many humans. He killed a lot inside. And therefore, maybe now, I think my teachers don't give me teachings. So much suffering. And then he says, come back. He's like kind of, how do you call this in English? Fence. Oh, yes. You don't need to translate. And to say you don't need to be sad. Why I give you job? It is the purification now, totally finished. Then he give empowerment, instruction, everything. Then 6 years after, and then he said, my heart son, fortunate. You are my best lineage holder. You are my best student. You definitely to be enlightened this life. Now I give all my pit instructions. Then you all the times, no necessary be with me. Go to meditate to difference. And also Milarepa, why he need to go back to home? Because he miss his mother so much. First he asked Marwa Lotsa, can I see again my mom's? And Marwa Lotsa said, oh sorry, your mom's dead. Maybe you cannot see it, but to make the wish, you go. I think you never come back because we cannot see each other this life, but we will see in the next life. Now I give all the teachings. You don't need to stay here. Go to meditate in the mountains and the landscapes and the mountain rocky, all different like a hermitage or retreat place. Until you realize that you're the primordial wisdom. And then it's like this. Therefore, then Milarepa come back. Of course, he couldn't visit mother. Mother's dead. House collapsed. And then he went to in the mountain. He more realized the impermanent. And then he's really, really went under the great hardship to practice. There's no food, only eat the green, how do you say, Milarepa's food, and he don't care cold, heat, or like kind of the sick or anything. He only single concern, pity instruction from his teacher, the Marwa. And then finally he realized that he's become the same as his teacher, Marwa Lut. Very, very few. So more than the 2,000, probably Malaripa, maybe. But then it's like kind of still we have his story. His teaching is the Mahamudra, extraordinary. And his many, many followers after he be enlightened. And he has the great student. In the great students inside, one is the Tohu Rinpoche. Tohu Rinpoche, after Tohu Rinpoche, Tohu Kajits, Tohu Rinpoche is Tohu Tarjins. There's and then it's like many Kajits, different way. But until there is one lineages, and like this, he's really. Then finally, your mind is it. The teacher, your mind is like teachers become one. Like he says, like the Jigme Jarvanyak. Then finally, your mind, your teacher of the Jigme Limbas, is become one, same. And you, like inherited lineage, you are the holder of the lineage, like Longchen Yintiks, Jigme Limbas teachings in spread in a calm, extraordinary way. Like really in Jigme Limbas teaching is in Central Tibet, there's not much. And Jigme Limba has, I think it's 4 Kamba students. Like Jigme merges it, Jigme Jarvanyak, Jigme, 4 Jigmes. And these 4 Jigmes to spread. Now it's almost in a calm. The Jigme Limbas, the Longchen Hintik is really like a new, I mean, completely not new revealed teaching treasures. It's almost, it's like now every monastery is to practice because of these 4 students. But actually in Uzun, Jigme Limba's place in the Tsar, and then I'm not sure in the center Tibet, because center Tibetans a lot of Geluk, and sometimes they criticize also in Jigme Limba because Jigme Limba's Ngakpa, he's married, and but then is certainly a lot of regret. He's this kind of great master. Then now it's like really like Jigme Limba's teachings. Quoting the Jigme Limba's teachings, many become enlightened. And like this, then is a peerless teacher. At your feet I bows. This is homage. If you do like this, it's a lot of blessing. Therefore, it's like first start 6 chapters. But there's so much. Okay, now next. Are you ready, or you want to sleep? And now. 다 두바 예시 롱jel라히 탑 탐치 전 타르투파 현란 주고라만 난주 첩 연소 다티제리 탐유나라 더니 송가테 또후 예시스 롱jel라히 탑 탐치 전 타르투파 간전나 현라 군주고 라만 난주 현라 군주고스 현라 군주고 뭐 현라 주진던다테 라만 난주라 땡고리스 라만 난주 감잖나 라만 현라 롱jel라 주고 ni lama ten dandra chi yo guru rumbo chen no ye yan sam min chimi yo lu pa pu yo shok tharmo ye hyedu lenyen thome che yo na che yan sam de na tendido. Now next is like this, chapter 6, Guru Yoga, entrance way for the blessing, the ultimate method for the arousing the primordial wisdom realization within ourselves, and this we already explained. Now, and the next one is the reason for the Guru Yoga. The poke katola yomari jinsen temba kachere judo lama nanjoro sidu ta jinsen tön gizi jinsen tön bandala se gizi wutanala lochi gdaka hi yongure tela sumur te sejnanda do kal tani la sejnanda tamantanal che te chere che te se karti che te stonako jinsen tön basi te poke la mankta te togre Jensen Tumba said, reason for the Guru Yoga Jingle. Here is Tibetan, there is no word. The reason for the Guru Yoga. Why the translators say the reason of there is, is in Tibet, Yong Topa Hi Zal this because of that. Now it says, Teyong Hir Chu Yong Topa Hi Nyam Selena, Dombon Sanya Tamchit to them, but Lama gave Henya Yong Topa Hi Zarte. Teach son Drapaton, Sonji Mujan the Hij. Hin Topan is so run the pan catchit this. Te Zal de says the Jensenton. Carrier says, and Dundee is. Turn and Dundrak young lady says, come on. Tombos, Carrier says, now. Tayong here say here. Ta Namjo Rachinas. Chu Yong Tapahi Yam Selenas. Chu Yong Tapahi. Narmash. Manopachi Chu Yam Zosana. Ta Kandi Galleries and Rung Tsu. Ta Ngari Yong Ngari Tanizoga, the Chihama son Mayan Pachi. Rung Putsu Ngajal to Sola Maten. Carita Chu Yompa Yong Tapachi Yam Drug Samna. Dombo Tsanya Tamchi to Dambasri. Tsanya Tamchi Jerejo do Sho Tupa, no Topa. Tenisha Sosun Tarba, Sotarka Damba, no Shonsan Guto. So on hot you Tamsik Lasoba, Tandragaji, Sentence, and Tsanya Tom Damba. Namjan Rachina, Dodo Jetus, Lamalan, Tsanya Jits, Tsanya Jutrisi, Dreva Yolit and Donna, Tsanya Tamchi Tsonson Jik. Tandraji gave Henya Chilas. Tsanya Tomche do Damba, the Lama gave Henya. Talamata Chirido gave Henya Mato Jessica, Lamati deep Henya Marisik, te Yontava Google. Chirido the Indian told the Sanskrit Guru said, Lamala Chirizo, the young Dramandayol, Tandi Lama Sage la Chirizo, Koru Geva shown in Derazogana, Lana Manchipa, Kona Manchipa, Tangali Yachi Yansan, Pena Chirizodota, Dornaji Ronki, Lojun Hisachina, Tela teachers, Lama Sego Chulerit. Yanandi Capsula Lamati Gevaga, Pena gave Lee Candizo drip, gave Shavaton Hiopa Candy, Su Dogur, Mugave Shavaton Hiopa Candy Pon, Gedik Londo Naga He. Lama gave Kenya take, gave under it, dip under it, getting Yagate, Dum Devato, Duhan, Jerido, getting Londo, yo, Tapach Tam Patilla, Lama gave. That he Nyan says it, he says it, truthful said, she says it, normal said. Nyan says the Kal Chimbon under to, G Hachonko, Nyembo in the Chani. Tandisel, talk Jerid the he Nyan. Young Tapachi Zartis. Deta Henya Yon Topachita. Jerejo the Pama Nyanhi Seture. Gal Chimboyimba. The Chagan Roland Dera Yochino. She that in a moon chishu the Hashoton Jason, Tandala say. Nyambote Jerejo the Lamate, Hashoton Mena Yon, Hasholin G solely with Nyan chishu the Jerejo Lama Riddle. Though he Tamchigan on the church Chovati gave Hinyan. Yon Topa Hitzal. They teach a song de patons, carry song, songi urgent the hit, that they car chamber. Me lama teacher is the takandi in a cha, tondu kundu, sha, sandu kundu, Tanchon Ara goes on. That's in a Galamagosero. Talamati Chizud and a Pachitilla, Jinze Lepranton Musi, Munishina, Taronka Lama to Tombo Lama top. Part Lama, then Tamagoshu Labs, Majajirizudo, Tamosho Hundro, Noni, Lama answer here. Tombo Lama Togzana, Lord Ning, some Sonji Yunga Lama Toyozo, Lama Gendra, Tanya Usong, Tupa Yomo Ungle, Jirizudoji, Tupa Tela Tani, Dojo Tor Ungle, Yanjo Mantasa Ungle, Yana Candizo, Dzogchen Giri Ungle City. I Goyata, not just you then ago, Sunji Unachi Manoson, then it taught you, Tangi Lama the Tangi Son. Tate Lama the dance hard to, then it Jenzi leopard to Muguchi, said Jenzi Tona. Samsala lama tanda, ta jesi yungri, telo, jizanda lama kahika, lomati nyamse shartse undi tanala, ndramanda tuangri, ta telo chiri nyasa, tani chonto, tutani ndramanda, zudenago, samsala chiri naro, kungu loma, semi nun yon nze nok dai, to non jo untana, naro cho ana, luna ngasharenla kachire doza. Tani chol tepande telu purpose ta telu da yolma ta tarun da lama kin zehyo yang sang na no hyo til tanda chi da nga zu po tin song ki chi da na paro sa cho se le lama sende ko mo de lo ma tanda to zo di song ji ngo shin da yi ji ri song na go ta te song ji de li nga la me san de hi tandi yo ji ta ka chi uni sende ko lama chin jar yong te yo ble ngo ji de hi ji ta ni ta pa ni sorbande pana karchetes hinkon ruputeni hiana lama koncho duna lama che hyudu lenye nyarwa sona lama che tarwal sona lama che sendala tonanda matonanda zona nena jenze che hiyo sane hin tapani tandizo sorbande lama sundizo na hachon pento ta tandizo oh yeah, and just to the next one. The reason need the Guru Yogas. In order to practice true dharmas, that is very important. If you really want to practice the true dharma, what you want, which kind of you need condition. If you want to practice true dharma, and then you need to see, it is of the great importance first to seek on authentic spiritual friend, a teacher who has all the necessary qualifications. Here is the very important. If you really want to practice true dharma, order to practice true dharma, you should to rely on qualified teacher, qualifications, qualified teacher. And teachers has education qualities, how he rely on the teachers, how he studied, how many years, which kind of subject, all the sutta, thanta, and it's like relying on the teachers many years. And absolutely education qualities is fantastic. And then in the middle, and the teacher has quality of the realization of the primordial wisdom. Oh yes, whatever teacher taught to this, his own like a teacher's taught, and follow what this teacher saying, and totally under the hardship to practice. And then it's like through this practice, and liberated his or her own mind streams. And you realize that yourself, the primordial wisdom, and transform or the blessed by your teachers, you yourself is become the equal of your own teacher. Afterwards, you accept other students, and through your compassions, your energies, you can to make it deliberate to the other students. For instance, the Jigme Limbas, these four Jigme students, Jigme peers and fours. And then they like kind of come back home and they practice. They like kind of liberate their own mind streams. And then they accept other students. For instance, Jigme Lim, like Jigme Ranyak Patrul Rinpoche students. When the end, he's teaching the heart essence of the vast expanse. Thousand students. Jigme Ranyak hasn't got really like building monastery. I think most times he's like kind of to put yak tent. All the students around is a tent. But finally he's teaching heart essence of the vast expanse. Thousand students, like principle is the Patrul Rinpoche, and like this. Then there's like all of these students become the great masters. they're like kind of the blessings, extreme. And afterwards, Jigme Jarvanyuk, one student, Umbutenga, one is like masters. He has one student, Kembu Yangas. And Kembu Yanga, he became monk like more than the 25 years old. He was a very wild guy. And until he's become the 25, he's fighting, running, he has negative friend and running. And the one moment he has something changed his mind. My activity is not good. My old friend is like criminal, burglar, and like they doing is correct. No, he give up. And he come back. And certainly, fifth Dzogchen Rinpoche came. His father and mother is a small like areas, like a kind of minister or not called the king, but very rich. And this rich, his parents invited fifth Dzogchen Rinpoche. Then the family said, what would you like to have for us? We want to offer to you to ask to the fifth Dzogchen Rinpoche. He didn't ask any, I need your sons. Why? Our son is 25 years old. It's too late to become monks. No, it's enough for me. If I got your son, it's like I got the best of precious jewels. Okay? And then they asked to son, said, oh yes. Son said, okay, I will follow. And he come back, and then the families give one yak, something food, clothes, put in the bag, and he followed the fifth Dzogchen Rinpoche. And he come back in Zachika. There is one, I think, Jigme Jarvanyuk student, Umbutenga, and he asked fifth Dzogchen Rinpoche, can you education and this, and monks? And then Jigme, the Umbutenga said, this is the like a guy, or this like kind of the, how to call it, like a smart, strong guy. Oh, I'm afraid. Okay, I make a joke, okay? And then the Umbutenga told to Kampuchanga, Yangas, and would you like to study? Yes? I think you cannot study. First, I give you empowerment of Machushir. Go to retreats. And then he give empowerment of Machushir, send to retreat. And then he practiced. He didn't give food and drink. Sometimes Cambodians almost unconscious. And last 3 years, and Umbutenga's manager saw the Cambodian, he's like kind of, going like this, fella, coming to pick up the water. And then there's like a dirty butter's box he saw, and a very blue, this, and Cambodian gets to take this nest to eat him. And because he's hungry. And then it's Umbutenga's manager. Umbutenga's very famous master. No compassion to his children. Look, almost dying. And then he secretly give a few like kilo of butter. And certainly in the evening, Umbutenga's calling to the master, the manager. And the manager went, oh, that's what you did today, negative, evil person. You completely destroyed my students. What I did, you thief from me, butter you give to him, poison. And then the manager prostrated, crying, I'm very, very sorry. Yes, I did. But it's like in Cambodia, Yanka is going to die. You don't understand. Then he called Yanka. Okay, now your purification's almost at the end. But today my managers destroyed you. Now you need to stop the retreat to come to me. Then he give education. His give education is like a extraordinary sharp mind. And he studies fast, very quickly. And after the 1 or 2 years, Umbutenga, he has 1,000 students. And then he chooses a few students. He said, you reveal. And then Khenpo Yengas like a group, and the Khenpo Yengas reveal the teaching of the Ombotangas. And then all the Khenpo Yengas like a surround, everybody is very intelligent, and then others jealous. And then it's why? Because the Khenpo Yengas some energy source. After Khenpo Yengas like become Khenpo, he came to Dzogchen, he's very famous Dzogchen Khenpo Yenga. Now you can look in the website easily. His picture has now recent, say, I think that time exists. And I think it's 300 or 400 Khenchens, his students. Whoever be his students become the learner, because these blessings, like this, some is teachers has the qualified inner realization of the blessings, and student is like this. Therefore, compassion, kindness, energies also to. Therefore, qualifications. Okay, and you should to rely on the qualified teacher. Here is I'm says like you look in the there is, if you want to practice true dharmas, look, true dharma, and then you rely on the spiritual friend, necessary qualifications. And this is just there is sometimes make mistake teacher, and of course there's called the teacher spiritual friend. Maybe teach you very, very funny. There's no kind of the lineage. There's not much education. There's not much practice. Like a kind of the like, okay, I am intelligence. For example, Dzogchen Rinpoche's make joke. Teachers, a teacher. When you receive some teachings, you can call your teachers. He was in the Oxford universities. There is like the philosophical, like Buddhist philosophy, the department. There's called like Buddhist masters, some university teachers. The teachers are very intelligent. They buy the different books like Buddhist teachings. And then they're giving the philosophy, Madhyamika, Mahamudra, also great teachings. But they haven't got their own teacher. They haven't got any received the lineage teachings. They nothing have any empowerment lineage. But they studied. I know, I studied. Why? We don't need two teachers. That is your teacher? And the Dzogchen Rinpoche says like, this is my teacher? I'm not sure, sir. But it's according in this, in the homages, what they said is like, first, you rely on your peers, teachers. And second, you obey. And third, you totally received the teacher's lineages. Lineage, through lineage, like a mind lineage, symbolic lineage, word lineages. These lineages is to like arousing or like bring into our heart through the empowerment, through the transmission, through the pink instructions. You haven't got nothing to study. Like a kind of the Buddhist teaching is become the Bible, okay? And the Bible is extraordinary teaching, but there's no lineage, breaks. There is nothing lineage. You go to in the church, do you have this lineage transmission for you? What? You just study the Bible. What? Study Bible. Sometimes even our Buddhist countries, they do. For example, China, Japan, and also it's like, I think Korea, I don't know. Only is a Taiwan. Taiwan is there is the talking about the lineage, how you have unbreak lineages. For example, nunneries, the empowerments, the like unbreak lineages. In Taiwan is existence. Like this, then is in the Buddhist countries, the talking about the lineages, how you received your own qualified teachers, unbroken lineages. I think at the moment it's only in Tibet that the masters they hold it. Otherwise, I wanted in China Buddhism, they don't talking, they don't like, You really need to receive teaching from the some empowerment, this lineage, transmissions. If you go to Japan like this, if you go to the Thailand, I'm not sure. Many Buddhists, and also it's I'm not sure, Pali tradition they're talking. I want to say in India also more traditions comes from the Nalanda. It's like Sanskrit lineages. They have this tradition. Buddha's teachings immediately collected in the Buddha, they passed away, and that summer, and collected these teachings is in the Sanskrit language. All the lineage through the Kashyapani and like this, until now there's unbreak lineages. This is very important, and therefore it is, we say, you really to want to practice the qualification teacher. That is very important for our tradition in the futures, our families, to caring about that is a very, very, very important and more blessing. And like this, for example, if we say in the Christianity, and doesn't matter Protestant or Catholic, if we have this unbroken lineage, Jesus Christ, this Bible, and we are so happy, and Jesus is extraordinary, and these teachings we have unbroken, but lot of change, and according the rule, according the in our Westerns, this religious constitutions, and it makes it in Tibet. One is the Guru Rinpoche. First time Shantaraj, that's they brought Buddha's teaching on broke lineages, and then they translated. Then they say no Buddhist cannot to change. Any kind of monasteries, any masters, they cannot change. They fixated. If they're mistake, Buddha's mistake. They correct as Buddha, his own teaching word there is. Someone say, I'm intelligent, this is not good. We need to coding our I make Timothy, okay, joke, okay. I received in Belgium, it's sometimes Buddhists, they making the rules, the moral discipline, and moral discipline. They creating according to our Europe's style. And this you can't do, this you cannot do, because of our societies like this. If you mix this kind of into the Buddha's teaching, then it's become the Bible, okay? And then there is kind of for example, this bring ourselves here is the heart essence of the vast expanse, Longchen Hinti. And then we mix it our own condition, our own, everything's put like this. Then mix it, real milk, you put a lot of water, then it's not really milk. Like this, it's really you want to true practice Dharma, you need qualification teachers, and then you should obey these very instructions. And also obey it. This looks like orders. Obey. Why I need to listen to the teachers? It's true. But first time is you analyze your teacher. It's a qualified teacher. It's a really realized person. You need to take yourself. You undertake your really rooted teacher. You need to analyze. Not necessarily immediately, I want you, can you become my teacher? No need. Maybe it's in the outer preliminary practice, in the last chapter is how to follow the spiritual friends. It says, more than the 3 years you analyze. Then after you need to decide it. And of course, sometimes you look in it's our Westerns to say, one visited to the Dalai Lama. And he said, Holiness, Dalai Lama asked, are you God? And then Holiness says, yes, God is, eyes doing like this, God is drinking tea. What do you think? And then this person's a little bit kind of stuck, because we don't know God. But we think God is like kind of paralyzed, like statue. And also some Tibetan people, they think is holiness so superior, like this. And to visit, holiness is eating bread. Holiness is drink, is tea. She's really holiness. Because it's like when they take the human forms, it's true that like kind of this, everything is like based same as ourselves. And therefore sometimes when we follow the teachers, like me, bad students, you look at the teachers, when is the teachers is eating, talking, and angry, the disturbing emotions, sometimes teacher has. But not the same as we are. And you have, last time I called my secretary, Chloe. She said something. What are you talking about that? And she said, no, don't talk to me. I have emotion. Today. Rinpoche, you have emotion? And I said, oh, no. I need to become artificial. And said, oh, no. Sometimes. Because she thinks like I am like, surely no desire, no anger, no emotion, everything like statues. I'm not a statue. This is a wrong concerning. So of course, I'm the worst ordinary person. Nothing, there's no qualifier. Nothing, that's just you are unluckily to we become. But I'm just your families, teachers qualifies it. It's like this. And therefore sometimes we just follow and my master said, you didn't realize it, you called them my masters. Okay, then it's like, I make joke, okay. For instance, sometimes you first a little bit follow and you understand something. 3 years, some qualities you don't see and you don't need to criticize. You then avoid, you searching to more other you qualified teacher. Absolutely truth like this. For example, me often this happened. Some students, I don't want to follow you. Why? Because complicated. I said, wonderful. Searching to other masters. That's wonderful, extraordinary. Some in the center, some teachers say, if you follow others' masters, not come back. You are not my student. Go away. And like this kind of too much narrows it. Students need to freedom, but students need to search in qualified teacher. That is the most important. And then it's like when you really to follow, really obey. I'm talking about obey. Teachers' teachings, you don't obey, all the times negative, that doesn't come into in your heart, nothing affect. Therefore, it's necessary obey. These are very instructions. Pray to him from the very deep of your depths of your heart and consider him to be a real Buddha. And that is like I emphasize it to our individuals. For example, like my own root teacher, this Dzogchen Rinpoche is really, of course, he's sometimes angry. Oh my God, I cannot go to, I'm shaking. It's like, and also he's more close, more sensitive. And totally he accepts his closest student, and then it's all the time, you make a little mistake, then he complains. Look how it is. And then sometimes, many times I'm crying. And then it's like, when he's angry, he don't talk, then few hours I have to go and to open the door, and he's laughing and calm to talk. And extraordinary, really, it's like when he's passed away, I was in the Dzogchen, it's most like difficult my life or the sadness in that moment with some students. is he taking care of me. Whatever he give the empowerment, I don't need to do Honru. I immediately can go there. And he all the time is like this. How I can to meet these kind of teachers? And difficult, And like this, then it's amazing, like this. Okay, a little bit kind of to shouting these things is, how do you say, it's like give education. And I understood that it's like this. Okay, deep is like, for me, it's the real Buddha. Of course, he's like kind of the passed away. When I left from Tibet, I went to him. I'm going in the Rinpoche said he's give a lot of guidelines and he's make joke and never forget and what he say things. And then later, and when I was in South India, Wangpo, something sign came, and I went back and I asked. And when Wangpo, sometimes science comes, he's the extraordinary. For me, but also like Wangpo masters. And he made Wangpo my mother's, oh my God, extraordinary. And like this, for me, is the real Buddha. And also when we like a kind of the really to meet the qualified teacher, any kind of teachers not modern, don't practice, only like me, and it's never practice, eating, shitting, sleeping, and name of the Rinpoche Lama is not, that is the decadent times. This not, you need to research. Qualified teacher, particularly in our Western, sometimes very difficult to really find, but of course these days more easily to research. Also in Tibet at the moment, really, and also now maybe it's Nepal, Bhutan, India. Also we have qualified teachers. I make one is like kind of mission in Tibet. I didn't say in Tibet. Burkil lamna ngatsu jagar to paya ndruk titik se yopo nda tinsong du mato chereju to paya jaga lama to sola chereju khong namba tera chimbore lama tsashen yolerete ngomma lama namba to so kandizu plman zonshon zunste the taron tinsong burk yosa burkil lama tsashen to so lama de ya hyong Hondro ni ngozong tatu jere zofa chimbu par de shaja chimbu par de hloma ta jodong tanni chu kandi song kandi pami bitu shomba no jinji te jere de chik kabrela chik deri hyonju song le na nimanin san le hyonju song zofa chimbu song san nimanin san le kon chan tanda mayin ba loni lon ta dawa ni dawa tandi zu tani ya chi tsai ung tana tani lo ya lo nga lo tu lama te tön char de tana la lama ti ko tu je na to pu yang ta kan di tu sam ko to pu yang ta kan di yun bum ba gong hu ko char de yun lo ma te ko sen de mon da yit mon da ji aji 당일 lama 뭐 직권도 되는 된다고 영모지 피차가 토만이 바르던 타마 초마 차성 징 토티 사운드 그 산라 간노도 쫀노 I'm talking about these days in Tibet, in Nepal, Bhutan, India. Of course, Europe is almost impossible. And like how are the teachers to raising the student? How to student follow the teachers? At the moment, is a little bit, Bhutan is quite good. When I'm traveling through like this, for example, in Tibet, when you are really follow the qualified teachers to concerning the student, how to Dharma build into the students. At the beginning, start the preliminary practice until the teaching finishes the great perfections. And they continue months, years. Maybe it's also the coding the students' mind streams, how to handle. It's continue. Then finally, and everything. Students like kind of the sufficient, like students like satisfied. Wow, it's like kind of the my received teachings is like this. In sometimes Nepal, India, okay, teachers, some is a holiness, many teaching of course, but teaching is now Dzogchen Rinpoche, Songji Nyemba Rinpoche, they quite teaching very, just kind of the 1 month there, next month there. Students also a lot of busy for like kind of the, maybe I don't know. It's also they follow, cannot. If you are in Nepal, you need to go to Bhutan, you need India. It's very difficult. Teachers not one place, and then students really difficult. For example, ourselves, we need to go to teacher. Oh, my teachers now in Budga, now in Bhutan, now in Nepal. Each time to go to embassy, I need to like this. It's a difficult, but how to like set it like this? There is a process. Is you really follow up the great way, the process, and then is the extraordinary way, like this. That is the very important. Now, next one is very easy. Before the lunch, we can do go, okay? Ndoli is, tan sonji ke sona, don tamba na tepi topa hiawa yenu hisong so. Ta don tamba na tepi topa hiawa yens. Dundam hanchi hi pieshir, ta dundam sete rung sen la yoju. Dundam hanchi hi pjina hanchi te hyeonzu selkam. Nga tombo nga tsochire sem te yut ni zongte tanala woma la mark chapa no yonrach. Dundam yesh se chule. Te chire to rung jella yolet. Dundam ba ke yehi tenya su rung jella to gana depi to pa hyawa yons. Depa la tene. Depa te chere se chanchi na chik toze ke tap tom chik no ni chok cherwa. Chere judo lama la depa yu mugu zo depa lama la yon depi onki lami tuji topa te ronje la hie mudwa. Depi topa hewa yono shi song. De yendo jo ji la chik hyarni. Jo ji la chik hyarni. Choto hyonche mato par da lama gupi hienyen tamba ten song. Trota, hyonche mato, sonji ju gompon to mason ko parda. Lama gave hienya, thanks. Lama gupis, lama gr. Sonji gompon to mason pat lama maten and rigoyo mares. Lama gupi hienya tamba, gave hienya tamba, ten she is. Next, like as one of the sutta says, that's very good. It is a true faith that absolute rich is the realized. And in order to realize our own primordial the wisdoms, and the best, the methods, ultimate methods is the faith rely on the teachers. Therefore, here is even the Buddha himself. He said, if you want to realize it, you should to put faith. Faith means trust, really rely on. Then is you can to realize it, this. Also, like is this, Atisha says, George Atisha, and the friend, until you attain enlightenment, you need the teacher. So follow a supreme spiritual friend, supreme spiritual teachers. Lama gave hyenyans, Lama Tamba gave hyenyans, tenchis. Until you enlightenment, all the time rely on the supreme, like a spiritual friend, teacher, and very, very important. And nilu mato par the tupa gupi lama dhamma nyanson. Next one, that nilu mato par the lama dhamma te yoni nyangulir. Yon here the nye, jiri lami sonji the rengo the monk. Lami sonjite nya yon nyanglen tenizo. Until you realize the natural state, you need to learn to listen to his instruction, pit instructions. Of course, you heard your pit instructions. When you are meditate, first listen, correct. Okay, now I want to meditate. How it is my Buddha nature. Oh, it's like how it's the teacher's instruction to the my Buddha nature. Like this. And therefore, you need to again and again listen and meditate on the pit instruction. Deva tamche lama hian la lopi turn the zovan zoso. That deva tamche sere lama te chere judo ta lama yadam lama yadam lama kandu. Lama te chere judo che de tsaba sang danya lama songji lama chu lama gendanya konchosan. Tozo deva tamche nika ko deva tatu ko deva tamche lama hian la kona la tena te yakshu yin le ros tende yundu tna la lafi se tenda yundu lama ko chusong kad lama la tran zogo res lama la tran zogna lama la chede cho tenchen yan sezi ko lama tu jizi te kandi zogo jna lami chusong kad ko nyamya zuna tani tran to zoban zo chi yisum. Here it says that all the happiness is the teacher's blessings. To all wise remember his kindness. And also it's that's in Trant Zovan Zotjis. And here is Trant Zovan Zotjis, Lamak Tranchen Yanjit, the Hakogo, and all the happiness is the teacher's. Happiness of the temporarily, happiness of the ultimately, both, and comes from the Lama's blessing. And therefore, Lama is the very important. And also in the says that Lama is the embodiment of three roots. Lama is Yadam, Lama is Ndakinis. The Lama is the representative of the three jewels. Lama is Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And therefore, as the unique deity is the Lama and teacher, and therefore blessing. So all wise remember his kindness, and like this, your qualified teachers. And who is a qualified teacher? Root teacher means we receive the empowerment and instruction, pit instruction, transmission, and these three are we receive, then we call the root teachers. And now I think it's lunch time, and we stop there. Thank you very much. Sunam doyo tamche zipanya tomni nipa dana pamchi yeganan chi walan trupa sapan solen drukan druva sho chonchu semchu rumbo che ma shi pana shi jar shi pa nyamba me pa don kone kong pera sho lasso.